Several brands commonly offer track-mounted electrical systems. These include Leviton with their Track Plus system, Legrand with their Radiant Track system, Hubbell with their C-Track system, Lutron with their Medi system, and Eaton with their Uni-Track system. To locate a supplier for these systems, you have several options. Firstly, contact the manufacturer directly. Visit their website or call their customer support to inquire about authorized distributors in your area. Secondly, search online marketplaces. Websites like Amazon, Home Depot, and Lowe's often carry electrical track systems and compatible outlets. Thirdly, visit local hardware stores. Check with your local hardware stores to see if they carry the specific brand or type of track system you need. Fourthly, contact an electrician. Electricians often have access to specialized electrical supplies and may be able to source the necessary outlets. To narrow down the options further, it may be helpful to provide additional details. This includes your location, specifically your country, city, and zip code. It also includes the track dimensions such as length, width, and profile, for example, flat or U-shaped. Finally, it is important to know the receptacle specifications. These include the voltage, amperage, and type, such as standard or ground fault circuit interrupter receptacles. When dealing with electrical systems, safety and compliance are paramount. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides comprehensive standards for electrical installations to ensure safety. It's essential to understand the relevant NEC sections related to track lighting and receptacle installations. The NEC specifies requirements for conductor sizing, overcurrent protection, grounding, and the proper installation of electrical equipment. Conductors must be sized appropriately to handle the anticipated load. Overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers or fuses, must be selected to protect conductors from overload and short circuits. Grounding is crucial for electrical safety, providing a path for fault current to return to the source, stripping the overcurrent protection device and minimizing the risk of electric shock. The NEC also addresses the installation of track lighting systems, including the support and securement of track, the spacing of luminaires, and the connection of branch circuits. In the 2014 NEC Article 410 covers luminaires, lamp holders, and lamps. Part Roman 8 of Article 410 specifically addresses track lighting. Section 410.151 covers the installation requirements for track lighting, including the need for a visible disconnecting means and the proper support of the track. Section 410.152 outlines the requirements for track lighting branch circuits, including the ampacity of the conductors and the overcurrent protection requirements. When selecting receptacles for track-mounted systems, it's important to choose devices that are listed for use with track lighting and are compatible with the track system being used. Receptacles must be rated for the voltage and amperage required by the connected load. If the location is subject to dampness or wetness, ground fault circuit interrupter receptacles are required to provide additional protection against electric shock. Ensure that all electrical work is performed by qualified and licensed electricians who are familiar with the NEC and local electrical codes. It is also important to understand the different types of track lighting systems available. There are two primary types of track lighting systems: single circuit and two circuit. Single circuit track lighting systems use a single circuit to power all of the luminaires on the track. Two-circuit track lighting systems use two separate circuits to power different groups of luminaires on the track, allowing for greater flexibility in controlling the lighting. When selecting a track lighting system, consider the specific needs of the application. For example, if you need to be able to control different groups of luminaires independently, a two-circuit track lighting system may be the best option. It's also important to consider the aesthetic aspects of the track lighting system. Track lighting is available in a variety of styles and finishes to complement any decor. Choose a track lighting system that matches the style of the room and provides the desired level of illumination. Before installing any track lighting system, it's essential to carefully plan the layout of the track and the placement of the luminaires. Consider the areas of the room that need the most light and position the luminaires accordingly. Ensure that the track is securely mounted to the ceiling or wall and that the luminaires are properly connected to the track. When working with electrical systems, always follow safe work practices. Firstly, to energize the circuit before working on any electrical components. Secondly, use appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and eye protection. Thirdly, never work on electrical systems when you are tired or under the influence of drugs or alcohol. It's also important to understand the different types of electrical outlets available. There are standard electrical outlets, which provide a single source of power. There are ground fault circuit interrupter receptacles, which provide protection against electric shock. And there are arc fault circuit interrupter receptacles, which provide protection against electrical fires. When selecting electrical outlets, choose the type that is appropriate for the application. For example, if you are installing an outlet in a bathroom or kitchen, you will need to use a ground fault circuit interrupter receptacle. If you are installing an outlet in a bedroom, you may want to use an arc fault circuit interrupter receptacle. The NEC specifies the requirements for the installation of electrical outlets. Section 210.52 covers the requirements for receptacle outlets in dwelling units. This section specifies the number and location of receptacle outlets required in different rooms of a dwelling unit. Section 210.8 covers the requirements for ground fault circuit interrupter protection. This section specifies the locations where ground fault circuit interrupter protection is required, such as bathrooms, kitchens, and outdoor areas. Section 210.12 covers the requirements for arc fault circuit interrupter protection. This section specifies the locations where arc fault circuit interrupter protection is required, such as bedrooms and living rooms. When installing electrical outlets, it's important to follow the NEC requirements and local electrical codes. This will ensure that the outlets are installed safely and correctly. It is important to consult with a qualified electrician to ensure that the track lighting system and receptacles are installed in accordance with all applicable codes and regulations. Furthermore, when choosing a track system, consider the amperage rating. Track systems are typically rated for 20 amps. This means that the total load connected to the track cannot exceed 20 amps. If the load exceeds 20 amps, the circuit breaker may trip, interrupting power to the track. To calculate the load connected to the track, add up the amperage of all of the luminaires and receptacles connected to the track. Ensure that the total load does not exceed 20 amps. It is also important to consider the voltage rating of the track system. Track systems are typically rated for 120 volts or 277 volts. Ensure that the voltage rating of the track system matches the voltage of the electrical system. If the voltage rating of the track system does not match the voltage of the electrical system, the track system may be damaged. When connecting the track system to the electrical system, use appropriate wiring methods. The NEC specifies the requirements for wiring methods in Chapter 3. Use the wiring method that is appropriate for the location and the type of construction. Ensure that all wiring connections are made properly and are securely tightened. Loose wiring connections can cause electrical fires. It's also important to consider the grounding of the track system. The NEC requires that all electrical equipment be grounded. Grounding provides a path for fault current to return to the source, tripping the overcurrent protection device and minimizing the risk of electric shock. Connect the track system to the grounding system in accordance with the NEC requirements. When installing track lighting in a commercial building, there are additional requirements to consider. The NEC specifies the requirements for electrical systems in commercial buildings in Chapter 5. These requirements are more stringent than the requirements for electrical systems in dwelling units. Ensure that the track lighting system is installed in accordance with all applicable NEC requirements and local electrical codes. Another important consideration is the type of luminaires that will be used with the track system. There are many different types of luminaires available, including incandescent, fluorescent, and light-emitting diode. Choose luminaires that are appropriate for the application and that provide the desired level of illumination. It's also important to consider the color temperature of the luminaires. Color temperature is a measure of the warmth or coolness of the light. Incandescent luminaires have a warm color temperature, while fluorescent luminaires have a cooler color temperature. Light-emitting diode luminaires are available in a variety of color temperatures. Choose luminaires with a color temperature that is appropriate for the application. When selecting luminaires, consider the energy efficiency of the luminaires. Light-emitting diode luminaires are the most energy-efficient type of luminaire. They use significantly less energy than incandescent or fluorescent luminaires. By using light-emitting diode luminaires, you can save money on your energy bills. It is also important to consider the light output of the luminaires. Light output is a measure of the amount of light produced by a luminaire. Light output is measured in lumens. Choose luminaires with a light output that is appropriate for the application. For example, if you are using the track lighting system to provide general illumination, you will need luminaires with a high light output. If you are using the track lighting system to provide accent lighting, you can use luminaires with a low light output. In addition to the NEC, there may be other codes and regulations that apply to the installation of track lighting systems. Check with your local building department to determine the applicable codes and regulations. It is also important to obtain the necessary permits before starting any electrical work. Performing electrical work without a permit can result in fines and penalties. When installing track lighting, it is important to use the proper tools and equipment. Use insulated tools to protect yourself from electric shock. Use a level to ensure that the track is installed straight. Use a drill to create holes for the mounting screws. Use a screwdriver to tighten the mounting screws. When working with electrical wiring, use wire strippers to remove the insulation from the wires. Use wire connectors to connect the wires together. Use electrical tape to insulate the wire connections. After installing the track lighting system, test the system to ensure that it is working properly. Use a voltmeter to check the voltage of the track. Use an ammeter to check the current flowing through the track. Ensure that the voltage and current are within the specified limits. If you are not comfortable working with electrical systems, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to install the track lighting system. An electrician will have the knowledge and experience to install the system safely and correctly. The location in Hawthorne, New York, may have specific local codes or requirements in addition to the NEC. Therefore, consulting with local electrical inspectors or building officials is advisable to ensure compliance with all applicable regulations. These local authorities can provide information on any specific permits, inspections, or requirements that may be unique to the Hawthorne area. Furthermore, it is important to consider the long-term maintenance of the track lighting system. Regularly inspect the system for any signs of damage or wear. Replace any damaged or worn components promptly. Clean the track and luminaires regularly to remove dust and dirt. This will help to ensure that the system continues to operate safely and efficiently. By following these guidelines, you can safely and effectively install track lighting systems and receptacles. Always prioritize safety and compliance with all applicable codes and regulations.